Hey, thanks for joining me, Glenn Sharkey, for another episode in the series, How to Stay Motivated at Home. For this video, video 11, you're joining me under our house, and we're looking at our water filtration system. When we first moved into our new home, the water was just awful. It was awful tasting, and it clearly had contaminants in it. So we put in this huge filtration system, 3 big cartridge filters, and also a UV light system at the top. And as a result, we've now got uncontaminated, perfect tasting water. Well, when we work from home, we're faced with irritants like contaminants that can get us frustrated much more easily than we might normally be in our workplace. So I want to talk about dealing with those irritants, those frustrations, and how do we filter out that frustration so that our families, our loved ones, our partners, our children don't cop the contaminants of frustration. And what I'll do is I'll head on upstairs and we'll talk to my wife, who's much more of an expert in all things relational than I am. See you upstairs. Oh, it's so much better to be upstairs where it's much lighter and not as dirty. And to have my wife Jenny on the couch with me, who is a relational expert. She's doing her PhD at the moment. She's in the middle of her PhD on relational well-being and health, and so she's really the one to have join us with this. So Jenny, in terms of people feeling increased amounts of frustration and irritation with working from home, what do you suggest is something that people can use as a filter so that frustration doesn't make it through and spill out onto their loved ones, their partners and their children?
Yeah, it's really important, isn't it? So the first filter I would say would be seeing the big picture, keeping the big picture in mind.
That so relates to yesterday for me. I've got a lot on at the moment. I've got 14 videos to edit for my business aside from this series on how to stay motivated at home, and so yesterday I had my day planned out and it got a little bit derailed. I ended up spending 4.5 hours doing shopping for our family and for both of our elderly parents and delivering those groceries, and I don't know where the jelly is. I haven't got a flipping clue. And so I'm just doing circles at the supermarket and I can feel myself getting frustrated. And that big picture thing, that helped me entirely. I just stopped at one point and said, you know what? This is not normal. We are in a worldwide pandemic. We're on a 4-week lockdown. And the bigger picture is we just need to make it through this intact with our loved ones alive and well, you know, and so that's the bigger picture. And it just helped to settle down my frustration. What else?
Well, the second thing I would say is expectations.
Yeah.
Keeping your expectations realistic.
And I guess, once again, back to my example from yesterday, you know, I tend to spend 8-10 hours, sometimes more, working into the evenings on my business, and I've got to let go of this expectation that every day is going to be a full productive day. It's just not a realistic expectation, given that I've got to suit up, I've got to get my gloves and my mask on, I've got to go and stand in line. Normally my supermarket run is at 9:40 at night, in that 20-minute window before they close, and I'm in, I know what I want, and I'm out, you know. 10 minutes. I can shop from gate to gate in 10 minutes, and now, you know, hours. And so I really need to have realistic expectations of my productivity. So that's 2 filters. One is filtering our frustrations through a big picture. The other is filtering them through expectations and realistic expectations. What's the third filter?
Well, the third one I would say would be tone. Making sure that your tone, as you're filtering through, but you're processing out to your family or your whoever you're interacting with on the phone or through Skype, but just remembering that your frustration's going to come through in your tone, so check your tone.
Look, obviously this wouldn't be a recent example for me. I'd be going back many years, but I can remember you pulling me up and saying, hey, why are you sounding so frustrated? And I'm like, well, I'm not frustrated. And here's the interesting thing. You could tell in my tone that I was frustrated, and I didn't even know it myself. And so, yes, that filter of putting your tone through, putting your frustration through the filter of reasonable tone is great. But sometimes, as a bloke, I don't even know what tone I'm communicating, what attitude I'm communicating through my tone. And it's been really helpful. I've had to listen to you over the years, pulling me up and saying, hey, your tone is reflecting the fact that you actually are feeling something else. And I've had to learn to listen and maybe show a bit of humility in that area. So in summing up, in order for the contaminants of frustration and irritation not to leak all over our families, our loved ones, we need to put them through the filters of B for big picture, E for expectations, and finally T for tone. Look, I hope that's been helpful for you. We really want you to stay as motivated as possible in working from home. It's so good that they can't see my board shorts.